log, stardate 6236.5. Following our mission to Balkos, the Enterprise is proceeding to Omega Corvus to probe radiation clouds. We are expecting an uneventful mission.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
This is a Code 2 emergency, Captain. 3 Federation ships have vanished in the Delphi system within the last month. 3 days ago, we lost contact with the USS Zimbabwe. You are to go to the Delphi system and find out what's happened to our ships. Starfleet out.
Captain, at our current speed of warp 7, I expect to enter the Delphi system in 8 minutes.
Captain, I just started getting the oddest noise on all channels. It sounds like some sort of insect drone.
Let's hear it, Lieutenant.
An object is approaching the Enterprise.
On screen. Mr. Spock, is that what I think it is?
Sensors indicate that it is an authentic Earth warplane, circa 1917, belonging to the nation of Germany. Its appearance is identical to a Fokker DR-1. Sensors also indicate an immense power source and one life form.
We are being hailed.
This is Baron Trelane von Gothas of the German Air Circus. I have identified you as an enemy aircraft. You have 10 seconds to surrender before I blow you out of the sky.
Trelane, but I thought we'd seen the last of you. Stop playing games, Trelane. Leave my ship alone. We surrender.
Do my ears deceive me? The great Captain James Tiberius Kirk surrenders? Obviously, this is a clever ruse, but not clever enough. To battle!
Sensors indicate he is closing on us. I would extrapolate that he intends to fire on us.
Raise shields, evasive maneuvers.
Raising shields.
Arming weapons.
Don't celebrate too soon, Mr. Chekhov. Trelane is like a bad penny. He keeps turning up where he's not wanted.
The triplane has reformed.
It is hailing us again, sir.
Kirk, you cheated! You cheated!
Your quarrel is with me, Trelane, not my ship. If you're going to punish anyone, punish me.
Oh, you will be punished, Captain. I shall show you and your closest officers that cheaters never prosper.
We have been unconscious for a considerable length of time, Captain. This is Lieutenant Commander Ellis, First Officer and Security Chief of the USS Zimbabwe.
Hello, Mr. Ellis. Where is your captain?
He was in sickbay at the time that triplane attacked us. I don't know what's going on.
What is going on, Commander, is a gentleman named Trelane, an immature child of a race with vast powers. Somehow he acquired an unhealthy fascination with human military history. Last time we encountered him, He had an interest in the Napoleonic era.
It would appear, Captain, that his awareness of human history has advanced to the level of your First World War.
If it advances any further.
Not only do we need to escape this place, but we need to find a way to discourage Trelane's interest in war once and for all.
How did you escape from him last time, Captain?
His parents appeared and punished him. I doubt that we can rely on such an intervention a second time.
You pick up a stick. The crate is open. It is full of bottles of Himrich Schnapps. The date on the bottle says 1913.
I'm conducting a sensor sweep of the area. We appear to be about 15 meters underground. There's a single human life force stationary, approximately 6 meters from the door, and about 6 life forms in our immediate vicinity on the surface.
You have taken several bottles of schnapps. You cover the straw with schnapps.
What's going on here? We should leave this building immediately. The proximity of this fire to a large concentration of alcohol puts us at considerable risk.
I thought that was my job.
The building is structurally sound, Captain. I doubt that it would collapse, but as a precaution, I would not enter it again.
But where are we, Mr. Spock?
Isn't it obvious? In trouble.
Do you have a problem, Mr. Ellis?
Yes, sir, I have a problem. His name was...
The Baron does not appreciate vagrants.
Why that?
Having fun, Jim?
I need a doctor.
A human, approximately 60 years of age, in poor physical condition. His hip is broken, Jim. He needs our help. That should fix the hip problem. He should rest. Thank goodness Trelane didn't take the tranquilizers from my med kit. He'd probably be too tired to talk much.
Thank you for helping me. If only I had something to repay you.
You could tell us where we are.
You are the American pilot, Lieutenant Colonel Jimmy Kirk, the leader of the famous Enterprise Squadron.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Jimmy?
Enterprise Squadron?
I suppose I should tell you nothing, but as it looks as though the war will soon be over, I can tell you that this is the village of Gothos.
What war is this?
The Great War. The one that has lasted for 4 damned years and has killed millions. I never thought that it was possible for so many young people to die for such a worthless cause.
I believe he refers to the first of your world wars.
Could you answer an important question for me, sir? What year is this?
You must have been held prisoner for a long time, Colonel. It's October 16th, 1918.
Fascinating.
I am so tired. I must rest.
This strikes me as something of a Potemkin village, Captain. It lacks the scope to be truly real.
A creation of Trelane's, no doubt. One of his imitations of reality.
Undoubtedly, Captain, there is a high probability that it will be an extremely deadly place.
All right, Commander, you were about to tell us why you're being so hostile. Let's hear your story.
Does the name Lieutenant Ralph Garvin sound familiar to you? He was my roommate at the academy and was killed by some blood-sucking cloud while on a landing party under your command.
Space is not the safest of environments. I've always done my best to protect my crew, and I've always honored anyone who has lost their life under my command.
The Enterprise is routinely assigned to unknown and extremely dangerous sectors.
You know the Baron's orders are that you are to be served in the armory. You are not to enter this establishment.
Everyone knows, Fraulein, that the Baron's orders were never meant to be taken seriously. Even by him.
Looks like trouble.
Excuse me, but if the lady wants you out, then you should get out. Would you like to step outside? Hello, soldier. Wouldn't you look good with beer on your face? Excuse me, but if the lady wants you out, then you should get out.
I won't have trouble in my place. Get out. I will be bringing beer to the armory later tonight anyway.
I don't know who you are, but we had better not meet again.
Nice guy.
Well, Miss Gernsbeck, you seem to run a very efficient place.
Thank you, Colonel. Unfortunately, the war does not lend itself to efficiency. What do you wish to talk about?
Charming place. Less technology, more humanity. I like it.
Somewhere in the middle of this European charm is Trelane and the missing ships. Let's find it.
Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for that broom?
That old thing. I can give it to you now. You can pay me later. I'm sure my boss, Mr. Uland, won't mind. Hi, can I help you?
I see you're selling food packages.
You look hungry. Sure, have it. Pay me later. Hi, can I help you?
Is that a coil of rope over on the wall?
That rope? No one ever buys rope. Go ahead and take it. Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for those shoes?
I'm sorry, but those shoes have already been paid for. Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for that? Really is a beautiful clock.
It sure is. I can let you have it. Pay me later. Or maybe not. Mr. Uland wouldn't like me to give away something that expensive on a promise.
The power contained within one of the clocks is off the scale, Captain. It matches with the sensor readings I took of Trelane's triplane on the Enterprise.
Theories, Mr. Spock.
Captain, the last time we encountered Trelane, he used various items, in particular, a machine hidden behind a mirror as a source for his power. This clock is another one of Trelane's power objects.
And if we could find and destroy enough of Trelane's power,
the village of Gothos would come apart, and we might find out what happened to the Enterprise.
Mr. Spock, continue scanning for power sources.
What is it, Gringold? Ah, visitors. What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell me about the war?
We are a nation of warriors, Colonel. Like your America, we were born in war. We believe that military might gives men the right to take what they want.
What about diplomacy?
I wish we understood it better, Colonel. The pieces of paper that our diplomats sign have too little meaning. If we paid more attention, we could have prevented this latest mad conflict. I lost my grandson at the Marne. What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell me about the war? I noticed that you have only one.
I lost my arm in the last war, January 8, 1871, during the siege of Paris during Bismarck's war with France, shortly before Germany's glorious victory. It still didn't bring my arm back. What What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell me? I noticed. What can you tell me about Trelane?
Ah, yes, the glorious Baron. I'm an early soldier, retired and alone except for Glingold. I don't think I can tell you anything about him. What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell? I know. What can you tell me about? Where can I go to earn some money?
I might be able to give you some money, Colonel, if I could think of something useful that you could do for me. What can I do for you, Colonel?
What can you tell? I know. What can you tell me? Where can I go to? What can you tell me about the war?
We are a nation.
What about diplomacy?
I wish we under.
I have a feeling we may need it later.
It's not firing.
The phasers have been completely drained of energy.
Courtesy of our charming host, no doubt.
No doubt. Well, gentlemen, if we're going to beat Trelane, we'll have to beat him on his own terms.
Thank you, Colonel. You Americans are very helpful. It's a pity we're at war with you. But wars always end. And today's enemy often becomes tomorrow's friend. Unfortunately, the reverse is often true. Here, it's not much, but money has its uses.
Thank you. Perhaps you might be able to use a broom around here.
Why, thank you, Colonel.
An ordinary house cat, Felis catus, a common human pet. The first records of domesticated cats are from ancient Egypt, where they reduced the rat population in the grain fields, and were also used as hunting animals to retrieve small birds.
Spock, has anyone ever told you that ignorance is bliss?
His name is Glingold, Captain Spock.
The dog is now hungrily eating its meal.
Another satisfied patient.
Fascinating. The mechanism is working correctly. My tricorder detects the passage of time, and yet the exact time count remains unchanged. The actual clock is unremarkable, Captain. No anomalies or unusual power readings. Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from the chalkboard.
You know, I've heard that chalkboards can be very dangerous to children. The chalk is very bad for the lungs. Maybe I should remove it.
You want to remove my chalkboard? Nein, absolutely not. I wouldn't consider it unless you gave me a letter from the superintendent telling me to do this.
Young human male, life signs failing. Suffering from internal bleeding and shock. Now that's an odd reading. It's not biological. Maybe Spock should try using his tricorder.
Captain, another abnormally high reading emanating from an object in his pocket. A locket of some sort.
Can you... about your locket.
You want my locket? But that's the only reminder of my girl. I'd rather lose my arm.
We need it very badly. If we do something for you, would you give it to us?
I have a letter to my girl. If you see that it is delivered, I'll give you my locket.
Gretel, could you answer a question or two for me?
I will try, Colonel.
Gretel, I need to persuade Herr Schiller to give me the school's chalkboard. It is vitally important to the war.
Herr Kirk, as you know my secret, I have no choice but to help you. Herr Schiller cares about the health of his pupils more than anything. If you could convince him that the chalkboard is dangerous...
I had a thought about that. How can I convince him?
Herr Sundergaard, the publisher, is the most respected man in Garthos. Next to the Baron, of course. If you could persuade him to start a rumor that these chalkboards were unhealthy, I believe that Herr Schiller would believe it and give you a letter allowing you to confiscate it.
Can you deliver a letter for me?
Give me the letter, and I will see that it is delivered. Thank you, Captain. I will see that it is delivered.
My dearest Hilda, you are the sun that lights my shadows. Your voice is the one that speaks to me when all other voices are filled with pain. Only your memory keeps this unbearable suffering from driving me mad. That and the hope that this war will soon end, one way or another, and that I may yet live to see your smile.
There it is, the triplane that shot down the Enterprise.
Why don't you start it up and fly off in a blaze of glory? After all, you are James T. Kirk, the toast of Starfleet. The man who never loses.
Mr. Ellis.
What's the matter, Kirk? The truth hurts? You never let that get in the way of your ego before.
That's it. I've taken all I can stand from you.
Most illogical.
My medical tricorder identifies the substance contained in the keg to be a fermented cereal produced by a malting process.
In other words, beer.
How come Spock gets to ramble on forever with his explanations without interruptions and I don't?
McCoy has drugged the beer. You have taken one of their rifles.
I have a bad feeling about this.
I could mind meld with him to get the combination of the safe.
Do it, Spock.
Trelane.
Spock, snap out of it.
He's not paying attention to me. Run away.
The combination, Spock. Concentrate on the combination.
Kirk. I must have revenge on Kirk. Every great man has his enemy. Nothing could be more fun than revenge. The sensation to end all sensations.
Spock!
I'm back, Captain. I was able to mind meld with Trelane to an extent through his replications. These men are the crew of the Shinobi, the original freighter that Trelane captured. Their thoughts have been altered by Trelane.
Where is the Enterprise, Spock?
Or the Zimbabwe.
I received the impression that Trelane is holding them prisoner. I also got the combination for the safe. Right 43, left 18, right 29, pull.
What can you tell me about the war?
My son is in the army. I fear for him constantly. I've tried to convince the commander at the armory to authorize his transfer. I would do nearly anything for that transfer.
I need you to spread a rumor about a chalkboard.
You say you need me to convince Herr Schiller to give you the kindergarten blackboard? I do not know why, but I would do anything if you could get the commander to issue a transfer for my son. Welcome to the game, Colonel.
3 hours later.
My God! Where did you learn to play poker, Colonel?
Starfleet Academy.
We have enough money to purchase the clock, Captain. I suggest we do so without delay.
Hi, can I help you?
What do you want for those shoes? That really is a beautiful clock.
You can afford it. Take it.
You presume to threaten me, Colonel?
I want you to sign transfer papers for Sundergaard's son. Send him away from the front.
How typical of the press. Not too willing to sacrifice for the good of the nation. Untie me, and I shall sign papers to take this little coward away from his duty.
You have taken the signed transfer papers.
Nothing to report in the West.
What can you tell me about that locket?
You've delivered my letter? I guess I'll keep my promise. Have my locket.
Thank you, Lieutenant Colonel. I cannot express my gratitude. If there is anything I can do for you, please let me know.
You look worried. It wouldn't happen to be about the chalkboard by any chance.
I have heard the most horrifying rumors about these boards.
Do you think they are true?
Absolutely. If you wish, I could dispose of the thing for you before anyone is harmed. I'd need a letter for Frau Humperdinck.
Absolutely. Let me just take pen to paper. Take it when you want to destroy the vile thing.
You pick up the piece of paper.
Well, if the superintendent says you must take it, you must.
You put the locket in the triplane. You put the clock in the triplane. You put the chalkboard in the triplane.
Affirmative, Captain.
Everyone stay well back.
I suppose I should be angry at you, Captain, with your act of vandalism against my beautiful aircraft. But then, barbarians will be barbarians.
There's only one barbarian in the room, Trelane, and I'm looking at him right...
Captain, you're even ruder and more antagonistic than I remembered. How wonderful!
What must I do to make you leave me and my crew alone?
I have no interest in leaving you alone, Captain. As for your crew, you're only a few feet away from them. Observe my trophies, Captain Kirk.
This bottle contains a very realistic reduction of the USS Zimbabwe.
My ship! Bring it back or I'll...
He's done you no harm. Take me in his place.
Ah, the gallant captain, intervening on behalf of one who despises him. Don't worry about him, Captain. Worry about yourself.
I suppose I should thank you, Captain.
Later, Commander. Wait, that's odd. I was sure I detected other power sources converging towards us when I was on the Enterprise.
No, you didn't. It's nowhere near me. But there's no harm in making sure we aren't seen. She's gone. And now I have to think of the proper way to destroy my enemies. You have a brief respite before your destruction.
Look into the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane. Recreate what's in there, and let me show you firsthand the glory of one of the bloodiest conflicts in human history. Not a liar, just misinformed. Use the memory banks of the Enterprise, Trelane. Recreate what's in there. War at its most realistic and terrifying.
Captain Kirk, I hope you had a good reason for dragging me out in the mud in the middle of the rain.
Look around you, Trelane. Is this glory? Is this valor? Smell the stench of death. While knights fought in the sky, millions died in the mud. Diseased, starving, mutilated. Is this the sort of game you want to play, Trelane?
But these people lost, Kirk. Shame and suffering is supposed to befall the losers in war.
If you have any real courage, Trelane, if you want to experience real warfare, put yourself in their place. No powers, no titles. Experience the glory of war firsthand, like these men did.
But aren't you inferiors supposed to die like that? Aren't you supposed to throw your lives away in futile wars? Or die as meaningless non-entities? Dying a useless death without glory?
No one is useless, Trelane, and no one wants to throw away their life in a futile war. We've changed, Trelane. We've grown up. It's time you did too.
You're no fun anymore, Kirk. No fun at all. You're preachy just like them. Anything I'm interested in is always wrong.
But Trelane, you don't go around hurting people and expect them to treat it as though they're having fun. The first thing a life form learns is to avoid pain.
Then how do you explain this delightful scene around us?
Some politicians decided that the only way to avoid getting hurt was to send other people out to get hurt. We've tried to outgrow that. Not always successfully, as Mr. Ellis might tell you, but we try.
Captain, yours is a most confusing species. Perhaps I should spend some time thinking about it before I talk with you again.
Captain's log. Missing starships have been restored to normal size and are about to return to their assigned missions. It was horrible, Mr. Spock. Trelane recreated one of the greatest tragedies in human history. I've seen a lot, but even that...
The waste of lives is appalling, even when one operates by pure logic. When one considers what those millions of lives that were lost might have done for humanity had the war never taken place.
Well, now that we've taken care of business... Ow! I'll have to see Dr. McCoy about my shoulder.
Something happened, Captain?
Mr. Ellis and
I see. Are your differences settled?
I'm afraid not, Mr. Spock. We each won a game of zero-G squash, but I'm afraid he was called back to the Zimbabwe before we could have a rubber match. I think I dislocated my shoulder with a rather wild swing in the second game.
Then logic suggests that your injury would have caused you to lose the match.
I suppose so. He's a good player and a good officer. I'm putting in a request to bring him on the Enterprise.
That should be fascinating.
Captain. I'm Captain Gernsbeck of the Shinobi. I thought I would thank you personally before we left for Cephas Bi.
A pleasure to meet you, Captain.
Have we met before, Captain? There's something familiar.
Perhaps we did, on some other planet, in some other star system, sometime long ago.
Message from Starfleet Command.
On screen.
I reviewed your report from your recent assignment, Captain, and have a few comments. The top brass at Starfleet are impressed with the results of your recent performance. Outstanding work, Jim. Keep up the good work. Kane out.